Many people ask me, how did I become a speaker? Well, it's a very cool story. When I was 17, after school for an hour, I would chat with the cleaner because, while he's cleaning, we can talk. I'm waiting for my taxi cab to take me home. We talked about everything. We talked about religion. We talked about life. We talked about everything. And he looked at me one day and he said, "You are going to be a speaker." This guy is like a cool Indian guy, like 61 years old. And I said, "What?" He said, "You are going to be a speaker." I said, "And speak about what?" He said, "You're going to share your story." I said, "I don't have a story." He said, "Yes, you do." I said, "No, I don't." For 3 months, he invited me to speak in front of 10 teenagers that we had that gathered as a prayer group in our school every Friday. And he said, "Nick, come and share your story just for 10 minutes. Just come and share your story." For 3 months, I said, "No, no, 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 no." He finally twisted my arm and I went. During the speech, some people were crying and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're crying. Like, that's really good acting. Thank you for making me feel so good. Then my phone started ringing. "Can you come speak here? Can you come speak there? Can you come speak there?" Just very, very small groups. Only 12 approximately over 2 years. Then at 19, I was speaking in front of 300 teenagers, about 16 years old, at a school. Now, I got up there and I had no idea what I was going to say. I was very, very scared. But within 3 minutes, half the girls were crying. And this one girl in the middle of the room started weeping. And she put up her hand and she said, "I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can I come up there and give you a hug?" In front of everyone, she came and she hugged me. And she cried on my shoulder. And she told me in my ear, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. No one's ever told me that they love me. No one's ever told me that I'm beautiful the way that I am." I was in shock. Because remember, if my parents didn't tell me that they loved me, and if my parents didn't tell me I was beautiful the way that I was, I wouldn't be here. I thought, how many other millions of people around the world need to hear that simple, beautiful message of hope? Millions. So I came home and I was halfway through my double degree in accounting and financial planning, 19 years old. I come in the house. Mom and Dad, I know what I want to be for the rest of my life." My dad's like, "Good. Finish school first." And I said, yes, Dad, I'll finish. And my mom, she's doing the dishes, and she's looking down at me and I'm looking up at her. She said, "So, you know what you want to be, huh?" And I said, "Uh-huh." She said, "What?" I said, "I want to be a speaker." Now, I want you to understand something, okay? My parents were refugees escaping communism, Yugoslavia in 1962. My mom's family with 9 siblings crossed the Austrian Alps and were refugees with nothing, went to Australia and started from scratch. In 1969, my dad's family, when he was 15, they escaped Yugoslavia and came to Australia in 1969. They started basically with nothing. So they had great work ethics. My dad started a church and he had 3 jobs on top of starting a church voluntarily. That was the work ethic of my parents. They worked really hard. And it was never in the mind of my parents that anyone at any time, anywhere could make a living simply out of speaking. They totally saw it as a hobby that would fade away. Furthermore, in Australia, in the year 2001, 2002, there were hardly any people knowing anything about motivational speaking. Australians flew motivational speakers from America because there were no motivational speakers really in Australia at the time. It was very, very infant. So here I am telling my mom I want to be a speaker, and she's freaking out. She's like, "A speaker?" I said, "Uh-huh." She said, "What you gonna speak about?" "I don't know." "Well, put you down." She said, do you have any invitations? I said, no. She said, how are you going to get them? I don't know. She said, well, I mean, like, do you know a speaker? Do you know anything about marketing yet? And all these sorts of things. I said, no, I don't know. But I knew one thing. That memory of that girl hugging me and looking her in the eye was my purpose. That was worth more than making millions and millions and billions of dollars in any business, because money can't buy hope. What happened was, my parents told me to finish university. I did. But I still wanted to start my speaking career. So I don't like reading books. I mean, I write books, but I don't really read many books. I didn't know any speakers really at the time. I didn't have money to get a speaking coach, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I went the old-fashioned way. I picked up the phone and started calling schools and asking if I could go and speak. Now, I had no marketing skills at all, had no idea how to pitch myself, and so the first call went like this. Hello? Hi. My name is Nick, and I'm a speaker, and I was wondering if I can come and speak at your school. No, thank you. And hang up the phone. Was that a failure? Yes. Am I a failure? No. So what did I do? I didn't call the same school. I called another one. Hello, my name is Nick Vujicic, and I have no arms and no legs. What? I said, my name is Nick Vujicic, and I have no arms and I have no legs. How are you holding the phone? Finally asked if I could speak at a school, and she said, no, thank you. I called 9 schools. I called 18 schools. I called 27 schools. I called 33 schools. I called 40 schools. I called 49 schools. I called 52 schools, and they all said no. But every time I failed, it was an education. Here's point number 5. Obstacles equals opportunity. Obstacles equals opportunity. If I have an obstacle in marketing, it's an opportunity to learn about marketing. It's funny, right? All these people that I see in life, they're walking along, and bang, they run into an obstacle, and they're like, I can't do this. And 6 months later, they don't know how, but they just get through it. Think of the last 6 months. Think of the last 12 months. You had an obstacle and you were crying, I can't do it, I can't do it. Are you here? Yeah. Did you get through it? Yeah. Then you hit another obstacle. I can't do this. Set small goals, and as you set small goals, your confidence builds. And as you get through past obstacles, remind yourself of who you are and what you've been through, and give yourself a little bit more credit and a little bit more grace. So the 53rd phone call went like this. Hello, my name is Nick Vujicic, and I'm a professional motivational speaker, and I was wondering if I can come and speak at your school about bullying, self-esteem, dreaming big, and never giving up. And she said, okay. And I'm like, what do I do now? I don't know what to say. So I said, great. Can you pay? She said, it's not for free. And I said, no. She said, well, how much? And I said, oh, $50. She said, okay. She said, can you come next week? I said, uh-huh. She said, next Tuesday, is that fine? I said, that's fine. I said, thank you so much. She said, thank you. So I was writing down the address with my foot. And she says, we can't wait to see you. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye. And I said, no, bye-bye. Thank you. Hung up the phone. And I'm like, yes! Success! And then I looked at the map. When you start calling 53 schools, you start calling schools that are not in your city. I looked at the map and I'm like, oh no, how am I going to get there? It's a 2.5-hour drive. Maybe if I start walking now, I'll get there on time. So I didn't want to ask my parents for help because they didn't believe in my dream. And so my 16-year-old brother, he's watching TV like this. And I walk in the room, I said, hey. And he says, hey. And I said, hey, how you doing? He said, fine. I said, Aaron, I got some good news. He said, oh yeah? He said, what's that? I said, I got a school who wants me to go and speak. Oh, that's nice. Well, you want me to take you, huh? I said, please. You don't understand. I worked so hard to get this invitation. He said, well, where is it? I said, I have the address. I didn't lie. He said, well, when is it? I said, next Tuesday. He said, oh, no, I can't do next Tuesday. I'm busy. I said, you're busy? He said, yeah, I'm busy. I said, what you doing? He said, nothing. So now I'm understanding that if I'm trying to start a business in speaking, the worst thing anyone can do is finally when you get your invitation that you can't get there. So I told my brother, I'll pay you $50. And he said, okay. So now it's Tuesday and we're driving. He's driving me and the houses are starting to disappear. And he says, where is this place? Who lives out here, man? Did you even ask how many people you're speaking to? And I said, no. He said, what do you mean, no? You should ask that. I said, I don't know what I'm doing, man. He said, do you even know how long you're speaking for? And I said, no. And we get to the school and I politely greet and hug the principal and I say, thank you so much for having me. They said, no, thank you for coming. Nick, we're so excited. I said, yes, so am I. I just have 2 questions. I'm just wondering if you can tell me, how long would you like me to speak for? Remember, 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back, 5 hours. About 5 minutes. On the inside, I died. On the outside, my brother laughed his head off. So I'm trying to compose myself. I'm thinking, okay, if it's 5 minutes, maybe it's a huge crowd. That would be a great experience if it's a big crowd. For 5 minutes. So I said, and how long would you, and how many people do we have to talk to today? I was so excited. 10. Oh my goodness. I was so upset. My brother, he was crying because of his laughing, right? And so while I'm speaking there on stage, I hear these voices in my head. I see, Nick, you should have listened to your parents. They knew that you should just stick to the basics. You just need to be an accountant. You know, blah, blah, blah. Nick, you can't dream. You'll never be a speaker. Nick, you're not good at this. You're a failure. 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 Just give up. Just give up. You'll never be a speaker. While I'm speaking, these voices trying to bring me down. 5 minutes go. People like it. I get my $50, give it to my brother. On the way home, I pay for the petrol. I get home and I told my brother, don't tell mom and dad. My mom said, how was it? I said, yeah, it was good. And I went to my room, closed the door, went to bed, didn't want to wake up. You know, I wanted to sleep in, I didn't want to do anything. And my phone starts ringing in the morning. You know, teenagers, how much we love sleep. Yeah. So, at 8:30 in the morning, my phone rings. I let it go. Man, who's calling me, man, so early? What is going on? It's 8:30. Second time. Oh, man. Just want to go to sleep. So upset from yesterday. I'm like so sad, not motivated at all to do anything. Third time. I pick up the phone. Hello?
Hi, is this Nick Vujicic, a motivational speaker?
Yes, hello, hi, good morning, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. We heard that you're a wonderful, wonderful speaker.
Oh, thank you. She kept on saying, oh, we heard about what you did yesterday. It's such a great message. Please, our school needs someone like you. We know you must be so busy. But we will do anything it takes to bring you to our school. Please come, please come. Can you please come? We'll do whatever it takes. What do we need to do to get you to our school? And I said, let me check my schedule. Then I went and spoke at that school. Then I got 2 more invitations. I did those schools. I did 4 invitations. Then I did those 4 schools and I got 8 invitations. I did those 8 schools and I got 16 invitations. I personally have put $0 into marketing. Word of mouth was how it started for me. And I wanted to be as best as a speaker as I could be. That in the future, I would be leveraged in a way that other people market on our behalf. That is very hard to do in the speaking career. Very hard. But it's possible. For me, I had many obstacles. I changed it into opportunities. Point number 6. Right? That's where we are, point number 6. Dream big. Point number 7, never, ever give up. This is in life. And point number 8, faith. So the ABC of the most essential things in life: the truth of your value, the truth of your purpose, the truth of your destiny. You will not reach your full potential until you seek it. You will not seek it until you believe it's there. Faith. Did you ever think that my parents imagined that I would be a speaker going 49 countries, meeting 9 presidents, speaking in crowds as large as 110,000, largest TV audience, 270 million, my book's #1 in 7 countries, being a best actor in a short film, producing my own music video and singing a song, being a founder, president, and CEO of a nonprofit organization, helping many, many people around the world. At 30 years old, 1.3 billion people know something about me. I've even been on the front page of Saudi Arabian newspapers, and I've never been to Saudi Arabia. Be thankful. You don't know what you can achieve until you try it. When you fail, try again. Failure equals education. Change your obstacles into opportunities. Dream big, never give up, and have faith. That is how my life from a life without limbs into a life without limits has transformed. And if it wasn't for my faith in God, I totally respect everyone as a human being with the freedom of choice in which religion you believe in. That's fine. I'm not forcing anyone to follow my religion. And I don't even want anyone to applaud after me, because if you have the same religion, you're going to applaud. But I do not want to divide anyone in that way. But yes, I am a Christian, and I do believe in God, and I do believe in heaven. And one of the greatest things that I've realized in life is that when I don't get a miracle, I can still be a miracle for someone else. About 7 years ago, I met, yeah, you can applaud that if you want. Seven years ago, I met a little boy with no arms, no legs. And I met him at a speaking engagement, put him up here, 19-month-old Daniel, no arms, no legs, little foot just like me. Couldn't give him a high five, so I gave him a low 2. My mom hugged his mom, my dad hugged his dad. They were crying. Daniel was smiling. He loved it. He loved seeing me. And I told his mom when he's 6 years old, I'll go to his school in case he's getting teased at school. I went to his school last year, talked about bullying, and now he's the coolest kid on the block. Nick, if you had a choice to have arms and legs or not, what would you choose? Just the way I am. Just the way I am. Arms and legs will come to me up there in heaven. And when I see this boy running to me with his new arms and his new legs, and I hug him with my new arms, when you have the perspective of billions and billions of years in eternity, believing that that's real. For me, what's 90 years? Without arms and legs, hey, at least I don't get arthritis like you're going to get arthritis. So God is a very important part of my life. So my top 3 priorities is my faith. I pray every day. I believe there's a greater purpose for everyone. And the second most important thing in my life is family. And then thirdly is my mission. Whether it's in the corporate world or in the faith world, my mission is to reach more people with a message of love and a message of hope. And I really thank you, Singapore, for your welcome. I really thank you for having me here. I thank you for the wonderful feedback that I'm getting from people who are reading my books. And if you want to know more about where I get some people, they say, yeah, I want your value, I want, your perspective, I want your positivity, but then they don't take it a step further and really find out where their inspiration gets their inspiration from. And so that's also why I'm really glad that we have a Q&A session right now for 10 minutes. And I'm going to be choosing the questions from here. But I just want you to know that with those priorities of faith, family, and then mission, if you want to know more about my life and my faith and my joy and purpose and encouraging you, simply go to lifewithoutlimbs.org. And it's there. If you don't want to hear about anything about my faith, don't go there. Simple. But if you are interested in also following us around the globe, please follow us on Facebook Anyone on Facebook? Yeah, like 3 of you. Yeah. Find me tonight. Yeah. We've got 1.5 million followers right now. 650,000 people talking to us. It's got to be in the 1% of all Facebook accounts. And so really come along. And really was touched by meeting a Muslim family with a girl with no arms, no legs. And that's on the Facebook as well. And just we had a wonderful time of fellowship. We had dinner and tried to encourage their parents as much as possible. So we love everyone, and I just hope that everyone has been encouraged tonight. Thank you all very, very much for your love. Thank you. So we have 8 minutes and 40 seconds left before I have to close, and so I don't want to get handcuffed up here. But right now I want to ask you, did you enjoy tonight? If you have a question, now is your time to run up to a microphone, because we only have 7 minutes left. We're only going to probably get 3 maximum. If you don't ask, you won't know the answer to your question.
Hello, I'm right up here. Can you see me?
My left or my right?
Right up, like up.
Wow, hi.
Hi.
Wow, how you doing?
Great.
Are you scared of heights?
Totally not.
Excellent.
But anyway, I want to ask you, what's your next big dream?
Great.
What's the next thing you're aiming for?
Yep, thank you so much for your question. We are working on a free online magazine translated in 20 languages. 80% of my books are sold in Asia. And so we actually want to help Asia to not just be encouraged when I go to the country, but while I'm out of the country. The next step, we're going to be making a movie in about 3 or 4 years, hopefully. And then 5 years from now, would you like to see that film? Yeah? I'm glad you're so excited. And then 5 years from now, approximately, we're going to be launching our internet-based TV talk show. So that's the 5-year plan. 7-year plan is to go to 50 countries with my wife and my son. But the ultimate goal for me is to really leave a legacy of helping the next generation understand that the power of changing the world is at their fingertips. In 2007, a very, very dear friend of mine, Elim Chu, I met her. She's here, 3rd row from the front. And she is a dear friend of mine who opened my eyes to the power of multiplication. The multiplication effect and power of when we come together and help people. There are 1 billion people who are hungry today. And our goal in all these things are not just to motivate people emotionally and mentally, but my goal one day before I die, and I hope it's going to be happening at least in the next 5 years, we want to get together a platform of 10 million people worldwide who give $1 a month, and 100% goes to feeding children, medicating the sick, building houses for homeless, helping people all around the world. Sorry. Yes.
Hi. I was wondering, how were you able to maintain your faith in God when you were overcoming these obstacles when you were younger?
What a fantastic question. So, obviously, as a Christian, I read the Bible. I know that everyone has a different religion. So, trying to answer your question, for me, as a kid, it was hard to continue to have my faith. It was the turning point at 13 where I became thankful, taking one day at a time, setting small goals. And every day, my mom and dad saying, God has a plan for you. Don't worry about it. God has a mighty, mighty plan for you. You don't see it yet, but it's coming. That was hard to listen to sometimes because I couldn't see it. But at age 15, I saw that miracle that happened to the blind man. And I thought, wow, if God has a plan for the blind man, then he has a plan for me. And he healed the blind man. And what happened for me was, I thought, wow, man, I'm going to get a pair of shoes just in case God gives me arms and legs. And I actually did. I have a pair of shoes in my closet just in case I get a miracle. Because I've seen blind people seeing and deaf people hearing and actual miracles happening. Many people I prayed for, the miracles didn't happen, but there were some miracles that happened. So what happened was then, at that time, I realized that faith is actually trusting that God has a plan. And He doesn't have to tell you the A, B, C, and X, Y, Z of His plan for you. Because if He told you everything, then you don't need faith. Does that make sense? Right? So this is the beautiful thing, that when I said, okay, God, come into my life. I want to believe in more than just living on earth for 90 years. And if you don't change my body, change my heart, heal me, give me your peace, give me your restoration, give me the forgiveness that I need, that I know that I have a plan that's greater than anything that I could see. You have that plan. I don't want to live my way. I don't want to live in my strength, because I fail me every day. But I know He'll never fail me. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Nick. Thanks a lot for your inspirational talk. Can I ask you, what would you say to a kid who has totally lost interest in a subject and lost faith? Thanks.
Lost interest totally in the subject, within the school subject?
Yes.
And then has no faith?
Yes.
Okay. So for a child who has no faith, first of all, when you do have faith, that's when you remind yourself of the promises of understanding that there is a greater purpose for you. There is a greater strength that you can have through you to carry you when you cannot walk. You know, teenagers today without faith, I want to ask you a question. Do they say YOLO? YOLO, right? You only live once, right? And because there's this culture of basically even, and this is not just in Singapore, it's in the world. If you only live once, then why care about school? That's what they're thinking. We're going to understand where they're coming from. If I only live once, then I can do drugs if I want. That's what people think. I can get drunk. I want to get drunk because everybody else is getting drunk. I want to be cool, so I'm going to use the F word. I can do whatever I want because YOLO. So the first thing I would tell that person is come with me to go feed the homeless and come to the hospitals and visit the children who are dying of cancer, who feel like they have no hope. You think they have no hope, but there is a hope that's even greater than all the circumstances in this world, including death itself, and that child may be actually inspired to, first of all, not take things for granted, be thankful for what they have, and actually a great healing medicine for the heart is going out and serving someone else who does not have what you have. And if you only live once, that's such a short life. I lived twice. I want in my life to believe that how I love people, how I treat people, how I communicate people can affect their lives now and for eternity. So sober their mind up and help them to not be so selfish. I need this, I need that. No, go and help the poor. That's what my parents did to me. They say, pray for the poor people who don't have food today. And my first international trip was giving $20,000 of my own money to African orphans and raising another 20 grand for them in South Africa, for South Africans. And I want you to know today, plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds. All you can do is love and encourage them and share the truth, but you can't take care of the growing. Do your best. My parents always said, God will do the rest. Thank you so much.
Please help me welcome two Singaporeans who every day reach beyond adversity, Aisha Samad and Jason Shi.
Hi. Okay. Love you. Thank
love you too.
Hi, Nick.
Love you.
I love you, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I know the two of you are very excited about this. We've talked about it and planned this moment for the longest time. I'm going to start by asking each of you to tell Nick how you first heard about his story.
Okay, before my accident, I do not know who is Nick Vujicic. Once after my accident, when I was in the ICU in Changi General Hospital, I had a struggle. I almost want to give up. And my doctor who rescued me, who is here, attending here.
Your doctor is here?
Yes, Dr.
What's his
Chua.
name?
Dr. Chua. Yes, he also gave me 3 books of Nick Vujicic of his collections. And he tell more about Nick Vujicic's life and tell me to become him. Yes. So I read his books during my stay in the hospital. I study a lot of his videos, and I want to be like him.
Well said, Jason. Thank you.
Yes.
Aisha, tell us how you first learned about Nick. Tell Nick.
Okay, initially when I was in the hospital itself, after my amputations, my life was I was so down, I was very devastated. I had these thoughts of committing suicide because being from an active person, I cannot even drink a glass of water right in front of my face. So when I wanted to commit suicide, I thought of my family, which is going to be like very unfair. Then I asked the people around me if there's anybody like me. And then they said, yes, there's people without limbs, born without limbs or accidents, and then there's no limbs. So I browsed through the YouTube and I saw Nick. And he did everything. He did talks. He inspires me. He gives me hopes. He really motivates me. And if he can do it, why can't I? I was wondering because every time I saw inside the YouTube, Nick is smiling from ear to ear, and he was like, "Oh my God, where did he get this energy? That don't he ever feel down, or can I just know how do you deal with frustrations or like anger? Like you never manage to have something that you want to be done. How do you really overcome those kind of things?"
That's such a great question. When I was a child, there were many things that I could not do, and I had to accept that. And I'm grateful that my dad pushed me in mathematics, because every time I was frustrated in something that I could not do, or when people bully and tease me, I came back to the knowledge that I was top in my class in mathematics. And that was a confidence booster in saying, I may not be able to run like you, but I'm going to beat you at maths, man. And so there's that competitive spirit. And, we all have some gift, something that we do best. I don't even care if it's a video game. If you're good at video games, great. Use it as a confidence booster. Not an ego booster, but all I'm saying is to not say that you're worthless, right? I actually came home one day after being teased all day, and I looked myself in the mirror, and I knew I had no arms, no legs, and that was a problem. Couldn't change it. But I said to myself, but you have beautiful eyes, and no one can change it. And so focus on what you do have, and know that the eyes are your eyes are the windows to your soul. And who you are matters more than what you can do. And so that's when I realized a switch. One day at a time, frustrations come and go. But with maturity, you start developing the definition between things that you cannot change or things that you can change. And when you determine that, then you keep on moving forward and trying to be a miracle along the way. So it's a journey. It's a process. And understand that happened last year to you. And that's very fresh and very raw, I've met a lot of people who just had accidents, and it takes a longer time for them to really even smile. So I really applaud both of you. Thank you so much for inspiring all of us. I really appreciate you.
Jason, when you were in hospital, so many Singaporeans came forward to donate O+ blood because they knew you needed it.
Yes.
And people, I think, are happy to rally around and help in any way. Aisha, I know you have a question about feeling like a burden sometimes that you want to put to Nick.
Yeah, I have this particular question that really bothers me because being an independent person from teenage until an adult, and then this happened to me last year, I have to depend everything on everybody. Like, I need a drink, I need to eat, I need to go pool, I need to go anything, everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm so sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
So how do I overcome it?
I want you to know that I, first of all, again, say that you guys are going through something more difficult than I did, period. Because I just grew up knowing that I needed help, right? And it's so hard to understand that you need help. And at 13 years old, my friend asked, so what about your dignity? If your parents help you out with everything, where's your dignity? I didn't know what dignity meant. So I started to become independent as much as I could. I learned how to brush my teeth, comb my hair, dress myself up, shower myself, take care of all my personal hygiene. But it took me an hour and a half to get ready in the morning, and it was just very, very tiring. Once I could prove to myself that I became independent, I then had caregivers later on in life, 23, 24 years old. And knowing that it's okay to ask for help. You know, a lot of cultures, we're shy to ask for help. We feel like, oh, well, now I need to ask for help for the rest of my life, and I feel like a burden, and all those sorts of things. But you still are who you are, and when you realize the joy of knowing that others can partake in your success to come because they've helped you, you know, your family loves you because they want the best for you. But when you actually find your best, you can all share together in that joy because you were one team to get you there. And so that's the greatest thing, that's the tangible, unconditional love that is shown. And I look at you, and then I look at you, and then I want to share with you. In my first book, I dedicated my first book to Philip Toth, who at 22 years old, he was on a bus and he fell, and he couldn't feel his legs. Then he could stand up all of a sudden. It was really weird. Then the next day, he couldn't speak. His tongue was paralyzed for about an hour, and he didn't know what was going on. Then they had symptoms after symptoms, and 12 months later, they diagnosed him with Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. Your body, your muscles, your everything in your body shuts down slowly and painfully, and it's horrible. He was given 3 months to live. He lived another 5 years. I met him 2 years before he died. And, you know, for me and him, we believed in heaven, so, you know, I'm going to die. If I don't die of cancer, I'm going to die of a car crash. If I don't die of a car crash, I'll die of a plane crash. If I don't die of that, I'm going to die of old age. Get over it. I'm going to die, right? So death is that, but it's not the end of my life, and that's why we have hope. And because Philip had that faith, he actually didn't feel sorry for himself. He actually, with the laser technology, started using his head to type on the computer. And he started a website that encouraged hundreds and hundreds of bedridden people and terminally ill. And so I looked at that guy who couldn't, when I met him, he couldn't talk. He couldn't walk. But he inspired hundreds of people, and I thought to myself, wow, if he's doing that, what am I doing? What could I do? I can walk, I can talk, I can travel, I can do more than him, but he's done more than I. And so that's really challenged me to really start being a speaker 11 years ago, and I share that because he was a huge inspiration to me.
Aisha is looking forward to her arms, her prosthetic arms. I know you are looking forward to your prosthetic legs. Jason, you have a question on prosthetics for Nick?
Oh, yes. I want to know that what is the main reason that you don't want to have a prosthetic arm and leg?
I had prosthetic arms when I was 6 years old, and I was at the time 10 kilos. Each arm weighed about 3. And it wasn't because the biceps were big. Anyway, so I was able to function, but at that time I was already 6, 7, 8. I already learned how to write with my foot, and they wanted me to start writing with this thing, and it's basically attached like a torso harness. I had to move my whole body to write. I'm like, this is stupid, right? And I'm like, I know how to write with my foot. I'm just going to write with my foot, and I'm going to type with my foot, and I'm going to walk without them because, you know, I get hot in them and all these sorts of things. Without arms and legs, I'm sure that you get warmer than everyone else because arms and legs, the skin is like the radiator to the body temperature. So, quite frankly, us three were very hot people. So, when you have robotic arms, that's also, you know, making, you know, me warmer. And so, are there different technologies out there? Yeah, but look, to be quite honest, in the last 20 years, there's been a lot of advances, more not in the actual motors, but more in the how you activate the motors. You know, they can actually, you know, move an arm robotically with just thinking. But I still see that technology on TV, and I still see the motors. It's still hard to control and be sensitive to how fast and how hard a grip is. The movement is still limited. Even if I found the best bionic arms that I had, because I was born this way, my body has developed and evolved with the way that the center point of gravity on my body has shifted to the left. So I have a 55-degree curve. I have a scoliosis. So my tailbone is on an angle, and so is my whole back. Rib cage is twisted like this. And because of my back pain, even when I have the thick sweater on, it starts giving me back pain. So I just, first of all, I don't need them. I'm okay without them. And I'm happy without them. But really, medically speaking, I would never do it just because of my back pain alone. So I just couldn't have that opportunity. So yeah.
Now, Aisha, I know, is a perfectionist who wanted to know something about Nick in that regard, right, Aisha?
Yep. You know, my sister labeled me as perfectionist. I got frustrated when things are not done my way. So I always get angry easily, especially nowadays. I'm not sure why. Maybe my battery is going low, even though I give talks, but I think it's running low. And then because due to too much frustrations and anger, I just do not know how to overcome it. It's like it just comes naturally that how hard I try to hold back is still there. And then, you know, sometimes my word could hurt others that I don't do it deliberately. So is there any way that you could advise me?
The only way that I've been able to go where I go and do what I do is because we've learned to delegate and find trustworthy people to help. Now, I'm going to get directly back to your question, but just come away with me for a second, right? We can't do anything without a team. You know, so you need teams of people to do what you need to do. And if I give someone a task, they're not going to do it exactly like I want. And if I micromanage, just give them the bones and they'll do it. And if they can, it'll be great. The hardest thing that I've actually come across is managing people. As far as, like, I am a perfectionist. You ask my awesome caregiver, Udi, oh my gosh, I'm a perfectionist. You ask my wife, I am a perfectionist. Nothing can be crooked, it has to be straight. The way that they hold the cup, the way how fast they feed me, two spoons for me, 2 spoons for them, and if you're too slow, I'm going to tell you you're too slow, because I'm hungry. And you ask my wife, what's my mood when I'm hungry? I'm not like this. I'm hungry. I'm like, I'm hungry, come on, let's do this. So we all have that, right? We all have that human aspect. And so the beauty in this is understanding what you can let go of and what you don't have to. And no one's perfect. And I want people to work with me, not because I pay them, but just because they want to work with me. And then because they get paid, not the other way around.
Jason has a girlfriend, but he's already looking ahead. And you wanted to ask Nick a question about dealing with marital conflict, right?
Yes. Yeah, I just want to know which is the unhappiness time with your wife. I know there's some ups and downs with your wife.
Yeah. I would say the greatest day with me and my wife is when I met her and we fell in love. Definitely that. And then when I proposed and when she said yes, and then the greatest day after that would be when our son Kiyoshi was born. It was unbelievable. He actually still had fluid in his lungs the first, 30 seconds. And the doctor was, pulling out the umbilical cord, having Kiyoshi on her left arm, face down. And they say that newborn babies cannot really see past like 30 centimeters. I was like 70 to 80 centimeters away from him. And he was laying down. And the doctor was holding up his chin so, his head wouldn't flop. Holding his chin, not looking or seeing which way he's looking. And he was closing his eyes and he opened his eyes. And he looked straight at me. Before his first breath, before his first cry, he looked at me for about a good long 3 seconds. And it was just, wow. It was amazing. And to see my wife in labor, so much pain, I can't imagine. Like, I really tip my hat off to all the women. Oh my goodness.
And on that note, I'd like to say thank you to Aisha Sama, Jason Chi, and Nick Vujicic. Show them your love.